Good morning and welcome to this weekend's Brunch Club, where we toast to all the amazing, diversely faceted women out there, filling your cup with inspiration and encouragement as our guests share their personal stories, experiences with careers, family, parenting, equality, mentoring, and advice. The Brunch Club is where we raise a glass and champion female talent and leadership everywhere, and where sparkling is always encouraged. Hosted by Rachel Swoboda and brought to you from the beautiful showroom of Bixby & Ball, located in Newport Beach's Lido Marina Village. Now, here is your host, Rachel Swoboda.
Hi, I'm Rachel Swoboda, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Brunch Club. I am here this week with the amazing Diane Dixon, the new mayor of Newport Beach. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, Rachel. Good morning.
Good morning. So, this is kind of a big deal for all of us.
Well, thank you. It's a big deal for me. It's an honor, and I'm grateful and gratified, and it's sobering.
Well, now, I feel like a lot of people know you, but for those who don't know, Diane, this is actually her second term as mayor for Newport Beach. I was back in 2016. 14, excuse me. Okay. And so now this is your second run at being mayor, and I know we're talking that we've got the mayor's ball coming up.
Yes.
That will be coming up very soon. So having Diane here actually is pretty special to me. For those of you who don't know our backstory, if you don't mind, I want to tell it.
Go right ahead.
So I met Diane, or she met me. We met years ago when Diane was running marketing at Avery Dennison. And so it was really magical earlier last year when you had your campaign kickoff meeting, and I went and I was like, oh, I don't know, that like fear of like, well, maybe I'll just say hi, and she won't remember me, and you were so lovely. You were like, oh, of course I remember you. And after that, I was like, what can I do to help?
Oh.
And so thank you for letting me help you run for city council and being involved. And
you were amazing. Thank you.
Well, I just feel like everything that you're working on, I want everyone to know what you're working on and just how you're, as a woman, kind of involved in politics and leading the charge of this community and bringing everyone together. And you have this amazing gift of bringing everyone together. So, how do you do it?
Well, thank you, first of all, Rachel, for being here and on your wonderful program. I just wish you all the success. And I think that really where I lead into is I want all women to be successful. I want everyone to be successful in whatever their venture is in life, but I have a special affinity to seeing women, young women, and women of all ages discover their strengths and their capabilities. And if I can offer that more on a personal level, aside from a public service level, is it's there. We all have the capability. It's identifying what it is that what is your passion? Books have been written about passion. It's really true. Live your passion and go after it.
So how did you know that this was your passion, or was it always?
It was always. So much of who we are comes from our family experience, and both my parents were journalists, or they owned newspapers together. My mother and my father were both journalism graduates from University of Illinois many, many years ago. Their dream was to own a community newspaper. So we lived in Chicago, moved west to Arizona, actually, and they had their life savings and bought up a little community paper. And at an earliest age, I was exposed to community issues. And as my father's business, my parents' business expanded, and we were involved in a lot of different communities, the dinner table conversation, quite frankly, was all politics.
Wow.
In Arizona in the 50s and 60s was growing, like the West was growing. And it was just classic community discussion. Should this road be paved? Should you put utilities? And I'm like 10, 12, 15 years old, learning about building communities. So I just tucked that away. And my dad was involved in Arizona politics as a newspaper person. So I was exposed to that.
Wow.
And so, just to cap that off, when I was in about 7th grade, I resolved I was going to be the first woman president.
Oh.
Okay, that has not happened. However,
I think I said the same thing when I was 7. Yeah.
But if you and there's a lesson there. Obviously, that's a humorous 7th grader goal, but it did point me true north for my entire life, that I enjoyed politics. I majored in political science at USC. Politics is part of my vernacular. I gravitate. If my father had been a doctor, I probably would have been a doctor. But I
don't know.
It's the current events, reading 5 or 6 newspapers a day for my entire life.
Wow.
Now people don't hold newspapers. I still like the real newspaper, but it's news. I consume news.
You are always very well read. Every day you are up on the latest and greatest, and I get notes from you sometimes like, did you see this? And I'm like, oh my God, it's 6 a.m. I haven't read anything yet.
I do feel that whatever your interest is, you need to be, there's so much, you're in the media business, there's so much content out there, it becomes overwhelming, but and it's good. I have a lot of different philosophies about you need to read all different points of view, because if you get channeled, you're not really exposed to all the issues. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm a news junkie. I love community involvement in the community. I love marketing, anything to do with the creative side of bringing people together, engaging people, tapping people's greatest strengths and mobilizing them to do something.
Yeah. And I've seen you do that. I mean, in the different walks of life that I've known you.
Well, and it's fundamental to life's experience. So yes, I started out with politics. That evolved to public relations. I got involved and spent 30 years in corporate America working for a Fortune 300 company. And I started out as head of corporate communications. That elevated to marketing, financial communications, shareholder communications, customer communications.
Very well rounded.
But it's all about engagement.
Yes.
It's all about conveying a message, articulating a message, whether it's to customers, shareholders, investors, refining that message. This is before message points were even invented, believe me. Now everybody talks like that. It's really distilling a key message to your stakeholder audience and reinforcing that. And so that's been my whole career.
Okay. Well, and getting them motivated and aligned on what the messaging is,
yes,
in order to be successful and move the business forward or the idea forward, or
but you have to, in that process, you have to listen to people. So I probably early in my career wasn't that great of a listener, because I always thought my ideas were the best ideas.
I think a lot of young leaders make that
but
same.
I soon learned. I had some great champions, and that's another chapter in a book, is having someone in your corner who gave me good advice. He was the CEO of the company, and very successful, and told it like it is, and said, Diane, not every one of your ideas but I learned that the best ideas come from working with people. I would say to my staff, here's my idea as we start this meeting, but if we end up an hour from now with only my idea, we have failed. I need everybody's input, and the diversity of thought. Everyone has a different life experience, has different professional experience. The richness of that diversity is powerful.
And I have heard you say that in meetings. Like
I believe it.
Even this past week, you said that in a meeting.
Believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
It is so much better to get everyone's input. And then your job as leader is to distill those ideas and forge a path forward and find a solution. Problem solving is another aspect of what I enjoy doing. So whatever the audience is, helping to find a solution to engage and bring success to that endeavor.
So on the topic of listening and of what you do, whether it's in a business meeting or in a larger space, because when you were running for office, I remember we talked about that you had 20 town halls. And that
21.
21. But that really stuck with me, because it's listening. It's not just to your team. It's listening to the greater community.
Well, in public affairs, public service, it's all about local government. It's about the people and how they want to support their community, or what is wrong with their community, what their problem is, whether it's a pothole or whether it's a light fixture or street light. So you don't know that. You can't impose your ideology on a neighborhood.
Yeah. No,
it's not going to work.
It's the recipe that you mentioned. It's listening and distilling and helping find those solutions.
That's right. So I have learned so much in my first term in 4 years, learning about not only how local government works, but what people want out of their government. And it's not that much. They want their city to function efficiently for the least amount of money.
Yeah,
but they
sounds right.
want, in Newport Beach, they want the best of those services and programs, and they want their streets cleaned and the potholes fixed. They want a highly responsive and efficient government. And that's my job to, as one of 7 council members, is to ensure that the people get what they want.
So that the people are heard, and that all 7 of you are working together
Yes.
and aligned.
Yes. Well, and many of my business skills transferred. I said this when I was running for office the first time. I spent 30 years listening to shareholders, investors, customers. That is so transferable to serving in public office, because you're listening to the taxpayer, to the residents, to the business owners. The listening skill is fundamental in business, in any profession, frankly. How can you not listen to your customer? And so in listening to my customer is the residents and the business owners, people who vote. Those are my customers. And so I can serve them better by listening to what the issues are and sharing with them what I'm going to do after I hear what the issues are, and keeping them engaged and informed.
Yeah. I think that's really important too. And so what I want to do for just a minute is we're going to take a break, actually. And when we come back, I want to talk about what maybe is on the horizon.
Okay.
And then what you've heard so far.
Okay.
Since the election. So we'll be right back. Thanks.
Bedding, lighting, furniture, decor. We do it all, even the kitchen sink. Bixby & Ball offers customers a thoughtful collection of home decor and meaningful gifts for any special occasion. Bring the coastal lifestyle home with the help of our styling and design team. Let's create a timeless piece together. Visit us at one of our charming stores, conveniently located in Newport Beach, Lido Marina Village, and Solana Beach, Cedros Design District. Or shop online at bixbyandball.com.
Welcome back. And when we left off, we were talking about what's going on in the council and what's coming next for you. So if you want to talk briefly about what's on the horizon for 2019.
Well, a lot. 2019, and actually we'll be starting in January to launch the update for the general plan. I don't know how interesting that is to a lot of people, but to people of Newport Beach or any community, the general plan lays out the future planning of land use, homes, recreation, transportation. There are 7 elements to a general plan that are defined by the state.
Okay.
And every city is required to have a general plan that the people approve and vote on and approve. And this is where the community comes together.
It's a big deal.
To have a voice, have a role in defining what the future city should look like. Now, in Newport Beach's case, the last general plan was passed in 2006, and here we are, 2019. It's time to update. There's so much from a technology standpoint that has happened in the world around us. Transportation, driverless cars, how will that impact our traffic situation, our roadway situation? So they're just...
The building and development around here has changed significantly
Well,
too.
it has, but there's not much at all new development because it's all been built, and so it's called infill. It's taking down what's here and scraping it and building up.
Okay.
But there are parts of the city in a general plan for commercial, for residential, for multi-unit residential, for medical. All of these aspects have been defined, so it's building on the existing general plan. But the people need to be a part of how that is manifested that lasts for the next 15 or 20 years.
And how long does it take to develop?
It'll be several years. We're going to kick this off in January, and it will be a community engagement process, so for the community to engage on what they see their future city looking like.
Yeah.
Traffic is a big issue in all communities, and particularly Newport Beach. We are a city of 85,000 residents, but we have 11 million visitors a year who come to visit our city, and untold millions who drive through our city.
Okay.
Coming from the north, coming from the south, coming from the east. And the east of Newport Beach and Irvine and beyond has grown by the millions in the last 20 years. And although many of those people like to go to the beach, so they're coming into Newport Beach.
Okay.
How does the city
So that's
deal
gonna be a
with the
big
traffic
discussion.
and the impacts coming as from being a destination city, which is good. It certainly is important to our revenue base to appeal to the beach is appealing to many people, but how do we manage that impact? And that's part of our general plan.
Wow. So what you were talking about before in terms of listening to everybody and bringing all of those opinions together.
Not everybody agrees.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sure they don't.
So some people would like to see Newport Beach return to what it was in the 1950s. I don't know if any of us can go. I would love to look like I did when I was.
Yeah, I don't know.
So how does the city absorb growth, deal with growth, and keep the essence of what makes Newport Beach Newport Beach? That is what the goal is, to retain the essence, the quality of life that people I prefer and choose when they live in Newport Beach.
Well, this will be exciting.
It will be. So it will be a multi-year effort.
Okay. All right.
And it will probably, this is 2019, it will probably be on the ballot in 2020. So it'll be 2 or 3 years of hard work. So anyway, that's getting launched.
And so all the council members then will be working with you together.
Yes, it's a very inclusive, interactive, community-driven process with council and staff, city staff as well.
Got it. Very exciting. Well, good. So with that in mind, I know that we kind of talked the other day a little bit about women, and not only women in business, but women in politics. Let's pivot and touch on that too.
Sure. I love it. It's my favorite subject.
Good. I know you've helped mentor and teach me over the years. So I think you should share with them some of the pearls of wisdom.
Oh gosh, I actually, you know this story. I started to write a book, and then I decided I'm going to run for offices. But that book is actually the transcripts of interviewing over 50 outstanding women and getting their stories as stories to be told, because women have stories. And
we all do. Share. Yes.
And my husband would say men do too, but I'm interested in the women's stories.
Yeah, me. Yeah.
Actually, there are so many, in my opinion, there's opportunities for women to be whomever they want to be. As I mentioned in the first segment, it's about passion, and women have passions, whatever that may be. And I've said this, it's not just people who run for office, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, any professional, drive your passion and be the best you can be. And I have some fundamental principles, if you'd like to hear my fundamental principles.
Yes, please. We should take notes.
I
should write these down.
The 3 C's, courage and confidence. That's kind of 2 C's into one.
Okay.
Creativity.
Very important.
And character.
Okay.
And I have found, I've thought about the 3 C's my entire career. Confidence, to believe in yourself. And there's just a lot to be said about that. And have the courage of your convictions. But the character part is the foundational part. And in serving in public office, I often say I sleep well at night. I do. Because if you stay true to your character and principles of doing the right thing, that evolves from character, you will sleep well at night. And I firmly believe that. And being rooted in some framework, philosophical framework of having core principles will guide you. Now in business, serving your customers, ethical integrity, as long as you always operate with that framework, you can't go wrong.
So it's doing the right thing and staying true to yourself and having those core values. Yes. Okay. And do you find that it's helpful when you align yourself with other people that have already sort of figured that out a little bit, that aren't floundering through and making odd choices, but that you're collaborating with people that share your values?
Yes, but you also find that everybody brings something different to the discussion, and I don't know what other people's value system is. Frankly, you don't know. You learn that as you work with people. I truly believe, and I'm an optimist, so I believe that people bring good things to a discussion, and I have to believe that. So I can't impose my value system on anyone else. You work with what you're dealt with other people, and you find that commonality that you can work together with. It's not something you wear on your sleeve. These are my principles. It's just informing how you process information, how you deal with people, how you act. That is just part of who I am, the authenticity of it. And it's probably a realization that I didn't come to realize until I was much older. And you look back to the landscape of your life, and you realize how'd you get to where you gotten, and you kind of analyze.
So this was going into the book. So
Yes.
the interviews, the 3 C's,
Yes.
okay, and
it's common to women that I interviewed, and they were referred to me all over the country. It's a passion.
okay,
One woman said she was in her 70s. She says the embers are still burning.
oh, I love that.
She wasn't done, and this is another common thing. Now, this is to women who are older, but it could be informing women at any age. You don't. Well, I guess that I could say this to younger women who have families, is who want the perfect work balance and all this. I always had a career, and I have a daughter who's now 30, going to be 38. Trying to be perfect. Well, everybody tries to be perfect. There's no point in saying don't try, but just try to do the best you can. But women tend to beat themselves up.
Well, we were talking about that the other day when I was talking about, having a career and having a business and having multiple businesses, and you still sometimes carry with you that fear of failure, or
I don't carry a fear of failure. I just, how can I do it all and keep it all above water?
yes, yes.
But
you gave me really good advice the other day when I was kind of having one of those moments. Do you remember what you said?
Well, I said never lose faith in yourself.
Well, you said the thing about that no one is staying up at night trying to
defeat you.
Yes, I love
They're
that.
not targeting you to say, I want Rachel to fail tomorrow in her business venture.
No.
So take advantage that people are really paying attention, but they will pay any attention to what you're doing unless you want to make a difference and show how you differentiate yourself or your business or your thought or your idea. And now they may be critical of it, but
that's okay.
But that's okay. But you have to put yourself out there and then defend it. And that's another.
And
thing.
that's where the 3 C's come back in too.
Well, and I should have an A in there because I have learned over my life that women, frankly, do not advocate strongly enough for themselves, and advocate for yourself. And that really is the confidence to advocate for yourself, to believe in your convictions and what you're doing. Make a case for whatever it is and defend it. I found in business and working in a corporation where men and women, and you have to sell an idea. You need to get funding internally so you can execute on that idea. So you have to have confidence in your idea and help others and allow others to share in that development of that idea. But you have to sell your idea to others if you want funding, or if you want a client to support your business, or you want whatever. You have to sell that idea
all the time.
And as going back to that original statement, no one is starting out their day figuring how they're going to defeat your idea. You have to awaken them to the benefits of your idea and defend it.
Yep, that is so true. Yeah, and as long as you're doing something that you believe in, and that you have conviction in, and that it aligns with your values, you should have no problem supporting it.
Truly. Yeah. This is the kind of the foundation of communications. No one is going to tell your story, advocate for your business or your marketing idea unless you tell that. And you're an excellent communicator, an excellent marketer. You sense that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
But this is good advice for everybody out there, because you have people who are trying to build their businesses and build their brands and build their personal image. And there's because of the way technology is used these days, it's not just, okay, I'm going to build my business and I'm going to be in the back of that. I mean, you're in the public light, whether you're a public figure or you're a business owner, or you're involved in a board of directors or on the city council. It doesn't matter. You're out there publicly, so you better figure out what your brand is. Because if you don't figure out what it is, someone else is going to tell you. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute, that's not me. And so you need to get in front of that and actually take the time to think it through. How do I want to be seen on social media channels? How do I want to be seen and talked about? Who do I want to affiliate with? Who are the people that I surround myself with that are going to also be reflective of my brand?
Well, and that is absolutely, I totally agree. And frankly, those are issues I never had to deal with 30 years ago, 20 years ago. This is all the product of social media. But because social media does exist, it's fleeting, but it does exist. It has permanence. And so it's very important to be cognizant of how you are projecting yourself.
Building a brand, it's a man's issue, it's a woman's issue, and on the city council right now there are 2 women, and historically there has never been more than 2 on the council. That I know of.
I don't know any more than 2 at a time. Sometimes there's 1, sometimes 2. I don't know if there's ever been 3. One thing I want to say, because I do come out of the marketing world as you do, about building your brand, of course, take marketing 101. I really believe that distills down to the authenticity of who you are. Just be true to yourself.
Yeah.
It's easier to tell a story that's based on facts.
Yes.
And it's based on the truth. You can't cover something, not because you can't remember a lie. You can,
but it's easier.
It's easier to remember the truth. If
Yeah.
all else fails, I would say just tell the truth, because it serves you well. But for women or men, but for women is people respond to the authenticity because they may feel they're not getting authentic relationships or comments. Mm-hmm. So I truly believe if you just tell it like it is, and this is true in business, whether it's public office or business, just tell the truth. Sometimes the truth is hard for people to hear, but tell the truth. It's so simple.
Yeah.
The lessons in life are really basically very simple.
Yeah. Okay, so as we're wrapping up today, I just want to make sure that we get any last pearls of wisdom or advice that you want to leave out there to women, to men, to the community in Newport Beach.
Keep doing what you're doing in your authentic self, and drive your passion and live your passion, and whether it's politics or business or serving a nonprofit, just put yourself out there. Another one of my philosophies I said earlier about courage and confidence and creativity. I didn't really talk about creativity. Let me talk about that because it applies to life in whatever line you're doing. Is people love creative people and people who can help solve problems creatively, whatever it is. And if you bring value to any conversation, any business discussion, how to creatively solve a problem, that is what life is about, is solving problems and through creative solutions. And so I talked earlier about confidence, courage, and creativity are lessons and foundational lessons in life, and staying true to your principles of doing the right thing. Live your passion, be authentic, bring people along with you, be inclusive, reach for new ideas, have disagreements. Reasonable people can disagree, but you learn something from that process of expanding your ideas, expanding your knowledge base. Encourage others. I strongly believe to help everyone be successful. And as a public figure, as a city council person, when I meet with business people or residents, how can I help you achieve your success? That's what I'm here, to help you be a successful businesswoman or a successful restaurant or a successful hotel. Whatever the business is, I want them to be successful for Newport Beach, but for themselves as well.
Yeah, I love that. And if anyone is out there who is watching this, who's thinking that they do want to start a business in this area, or they do want to get involved in politics, or they are looking for mentorship, or they're looking to kind of get involved or build their career, maybe they could get in touch.
Sure. I love helping people because it becomes contagious to see how I love to see successful people become more successful. You and I met 25 years ago. It's unbelievable.
I haven't aged a day.
Nor have I. And here you're building, and that's the other thing, is life is a series of layers of building on experiences. And everything you're doing now in your business or in your personal life is building on your past life, is deploy that skill set. You know so much. I guess that's another message I have to women. After 20 or 30 years and doing whatever, don't give up when you're young thinking it's too difficult, the hurdles are too great, because you're learning something along the way, and you will continue to use that aggregated knowledge and wisdom all your life. Everything is a building block to your continued success. You will draw on that forever. Even mistakes you make, you will learn from that, and you apply that to avoid mistakes going
God,
forward.
I love talking with you, and I'm always disappointed if I don't have my notebook with me because I want to write all this down, but we've got it on video, so
Well,
this is great.
I hope that those
Watch it later.
they're simple life messages that have worked for me,
Yeah.
and
Well, thank you.
I'm happy to share them and wish you all the success. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you're living your passion.
Every day.
And you're a wonderful mother and a wonderful businesswoman and
Thank
an excellent communicator, and that's fundamental to what
Aw.
you, in any profession, is to be a great communicator.
Thank
So,
you. Oh, wow. It's warm fuzzies. Thank you. That
so
means a
Happy New
lot.
Year.
Happy New Year.
And-
Thank you for being on the show.
Of course,
And
of
I'm
course.
so just so grateful.
Wow,
Thank
happy
you
to
so
be
much.
here. Thank you for all you've done for me to help me tell my story.
Always.
I appreciate that.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
at the next episode of the Brunch Club. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by the Brunch Club. It's been our pleasure to share this time with you. We look forward to bringing you more sparkling inspiration next weekend. If you have feedback, topics, or want to nominate someone to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at rachel@sundaybrunchagency.com. Cheers!